Now, I just wanted to touch on a subject that I've seen this going around a little bit, and it has to do with the Olympics. It's the Simone Biles controversy. The Simone Biles controversy. You see people saying it's great that she dropped out. She shouldn't have dropped out. You see all of these things just going round and round. But there is something that I would really like to point out about this incident. So, if you don't know, Simone Biles is a gymnast. She is by far the best gymnast in the world. Actually, she's the best gymnast that the world has ever produced in history, in all of mankind. And that is awesome. She should be celebrated for that. She should have been celebrated for that. Unfortunately, she wasn't. As a matter of fact, this is where this controversy really started, and I would be willing to bet almost anything that this is where the issues that Simone was having in her own mind began. It became apparent about a month ago, maybe a little bit more than that. The Olympic Committee said that they were not going to judge her fairly. They just came right out and said it. They said she's too good, so if she performs these tricks that she has invented and perfected that are extremely difficult, that they will actually penalize her for that by not scoring them at all, by not scoring those moves at all. Their reasoning was because if other gymnasts try it, they might get hurt. The Olympics, which is supposed to be a display of humankind at its peak, told an Olympian, your peak is a little bit too high for us, so we're going to need you to bring it down a little bit. That's what they told her. You know what this actually is? Equity in action. It's equity in action. We're going to have to, drag you back in order to allow these people to catch up with you. That's gross. It's actually damaging to society, which is actually the point that we've been making all along. I found it very interesting how many leftists, actually, and BLM enthusiasts jumped to her rescue when that happened. That's stupid. She should be able to compete at her own level, and if she's that much better than everyone, then so be it. Ding, ding, ding. But that wasn't the outcome. That wasn't the case. It was determined 100% that they were going to penalize her for how good she was, and she was not going to be able to perform these tricks and be scored as she rightfully should have. So then what happens? Her team goes in. She's doing a team Olympic event. She doesn't do very well. Very subpar in the first rounds, and then in the second rounds, she just stops midway through. She kind of limps a little bit, and everybody's like, oh, she's hurt. She's hurt. But it turned out that she wasn't hurt. She said, I need to focus on my mental well-being, and I'm dropping out of this team effort. This is exactly what the argument of conservatives and free market people always make. If you make it more difficult for those at the best, at the highest levels to compete, they're just going to drop out. They're just going to say, no, I'm not. There's no point. There's no point. If you guys are going to penalize me for how good I am at this, well, there's just no point in me competing at all. And the left is constantly like, no, that's insane. They're not going to do that. If you take 70% of the taxes of the wealthiest 1%, they're not going to just drop out and stop creating jobs. Why would they do that? Because it has a massive psychological effect. Imagine going into work and being the best at what you do, and your bosses come in and say, It's because you're the best at what you do that we're going to start paying you less. And actually, we're going to, that idiot that you share an office with, we're actually giving him his own corner office, to even the playing field out a little bit. We're giving him a raise. We're bumping your salary down, actually. That is the equivalent of what happened to Simone. And I'm so surprised how nobody has really been making this point. It's right there in your face and so obvious. It's psychologically damaging to have that happen to you. And you know what else it does? It stifles the competition, and it stifles innovation, because innovation is not allowed to take place, whether it be on the gymnastics field or court. I'm not sure what that reference is, or it's at your job, or it's a national economy. The concept, it is exactly the same. That's one thing that you can extrapolate, and that's going to be the case every time. So yes, Simone Biles dropped out because she couldn't handle equity when it negatively affected her. And all the left is ignoring it. I find that quite amusing myself. What do you think?
I want the truth.